So in my DayZ adventures the other day, I met another player who I ended up having a really interesting conversation with. Unfortunately, due to the impromptu nature of this conversation, I wasn't really ready to record. So that's why at the beginning of the video you might see a black box, which is where my face cam usually goes. It also didn't record the first probably 30 minutes of our conversation, which he also talked about some interesting things, like how he was a weapons loader for the A-10 Wardog, and he was currently stationed in South Korea for the United States Air Force, protecting them against North Korea. There are still a lot of other things, interesting things that we talked about though, and at the end another character comes in, which kind of sets up part 2, which I'll be posting later. So definitely stick around to the end and leave a like if you thought it was a good video. It did take me quite a while to edit.
But just like military stuff in general, like military life, those are good questions because a lot of people don't know what happens in the military. A lot of people think it's a lot worse than it is, and that's like a bad stigma because like, I remember you telling me before you were like, you were I was trying to what was I doing? I was trying to make it like the infomercial or something like that.
You're glamorizing it,
No,
like
so
the
legit, like,
commercials.
oh yeah, glamorizing it, yeah. So I'm like, no, seriously though, like, not trying to glamorize anything. Like the military really isn't that bad. When I say isn't that bad, like again, I tell you, the military could be bad for people. I do not deny that at all. But the good and positive experiences that I've had in the military outweigh the negative experiences that I've had, and the negative experiences that I've had in the military aren't like what you would assume a negative experience would be. Like some negative experiences are like our PT tests. So the PT test isn't bad. It's just some of the things they do on the PT test are like kind of stupid. You know what I mean? And
What is the
uh,
PT test?
not only that, like the physical training test.
Okay. Like what do they do that's
Yeah, so you know
stupid?
the military. Well, so a thing that I think is pretty dumb. It doesn't really affect me as much as it affected one of my buddies. So one of my buddies, he was like a pretty big guy, like bodybuilder type of guy, right? He was pretty strong. He had a wide waist though, like a pretty wide body.
Okay.
And in the Air Force, we have the waist measurement, which gives you points towards your total score. And if your waist is too wide, you can fail the entire PT test because of it. So like they're trying to do these like waivers for they're trying to do they were doing the waivers that would waive your waist measurement. So like it didn't matter what you got on your waist measurement as long as you can do the other like the run, the push-ups and sit-ups. And but I
Right.
think the waist measurement's going away because of our new leadership, the new chief master sergeant. I think she's going to get rid of the waist measurement entirely.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I think it is good. But like that was like that's one of the negative things. Another
Right.
negative thing is sometimes you don't have freedom over where you travel, which is what we were talking about earlier. Um,
Right.
Another negative would be like uh, not having a lot of freedoms to like talk to people about certain things like that you find interesting. Uh,
What do you you're like what do you mean?
well,
They
so
restrict like what you can say to your
no.
coworkers
So
or
not straight. No, so no. So like about like jets, like specifics about like aircraft and stuff like that. Like if I was telling like my friends like what I do, sometimes like your job you can't really be specific about it. You know what I mean? Like I can tell you like oh I load bombs, I load these, I load that, but like
right.
say there's more behind it that I can't tell you. Like you know what I mean? Like that is pretty cool. I could never tell you.
Well,
That's just like a
that's what I was
negative.
asking you before. I'm asking you for all the juicy details that you can't tell anyone
Oh yeah,
else.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. So even if I would again, even if I had the juicy details, I wouldn't even be able to tell you. Which is again, even if those juicy details are details that aren't like like aren't even bad. You know what I mean?
I think I know what you mean. Like even if they're not juicy.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, yeah. So like, let's say you're like, oh shit, like that's fucking dope. Like it's something crazy, right? Like I don't know.
Like fucking
You've seen all
aliens
those
or something.
no, not like specific aliens, but
Yeah.
like you ever seen those photos like, yo, this jet, they got these crazy looking jets at, Area 51. Remember we were talking about Area 51?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Like prototypes or
let's
something.
say they got some yeah, like let's say they got some crazy prototype jets that are just fucking cool, right? Like that you think are cool or that I think are cool, and I want to tell my buddy about it because they're fucking awesome, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if I did know that they had them shits, like I wouldn't be able to say anything.
That's
You know
no
what I mean?
fun.
I had a couple friends. Yeah, 'cause that's what I'm saying. Like you fucking can't. It's kind of stupid. Even if it doesn't even if it doesn't affect people, like or affect, the military, you still wouldn't be able to say it. It could be the smallest thing.
Right. So I have kind of a question relating to whistleblowers, I guess, because we're kind of brimming on that topic again. I feel like, so we have Edward Snowden, who's one of the most famous whistleblowers, of course. Now,
I don't even know who that is.
Edward Snowden, he was the
I've
guy.
never heard that man in my entire
Are you
life.
serious? Are you
Yeah, I'm
serious?
100% serious. Yeah,
Oh my god,
100%,
dude.
dude.
Okay, he's the one that leaked the extent of the TSA, um, or was it the TSA? No, not the TSA. What, TSA? CIA? I don't know. Um, he leaked to the extent of the CIA like monitoring the public
Oh, I mean, I
people
heard about the
like years
monitoring.
ago,
Yeah, I did
during the
hear.
Obama
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
administration. This was during the Obama administration. I was gonna ask, like, would you view him as a hero or would you view him as a traitor?
What, whistleblowers in general?
Well, whistleblowers. Well, it's hard to. Yeah, whistleblowers in general, sure, but then I'd like to be more specific about this one case.
I mean, I don't know, dude. It's pretty tough, to be honest with you. If we're talking about like heroes, like it really depends on how you define a hero at that point. If you view a hero as someone that like saved your life or someone that is just putting like the truth out, because I don't know how if I could classify truth as a hero. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do, because truth isn't always the best thing. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, truth isn't always the best. That's like, and that goes back to like say like NASA scientists knew that we were going to get hit with the asteroid. They would never tell us because the truth would set chaos. It would cause chaos. And I do believe a lot of that actually goes on day to day. I do believe people, the general public, as they call civilians, the general public, uh, I believe it is greater that people don't know. Like when I say don't know, I'm not saying that there is something out there that they don't know. I'm saying I think with what is going on today, I think it is much safer if people don't know as much as they could. Yeah, and I'm not saying information as like information, that could affect your life. I mean like in a war with somebody, I do think people should know that. You know what I mean? So, remember how you were saying that you heard that Wuhan has that bioweapon lab or whatever?
Yeah.
At this point with the whole COVID-19 thing, it's already worldwide. I'm not saying who cares where it came from at this point, but it doesn't do any good knowing if it actually came from there or not. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it wouldn't affect the end result,
Yeah, because
essentially.
we're already in a global pandemic.
Yeah.
Like if it, let's say it did come from there. Let's say it did, right? If it did and it was an accident, cool, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That shouldn't be the question that people are focused on. Now people should be questioning like why the hell does Wuhan have a fucking bioweapon lab? You know what I mean? Because biological weapons are banned worldwide. It's an international treaty. You know what I mean? So like, why the hell do they have a bioweapon lab?
Yeah.
That should be the question people ask, which I don't think people are asking that question. Let's go back to the TSA thing or the NSA thing, right? The people that spy
NSA.
on
That's it.
your
NSA.
phones.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you know, people that spy on your phones and your communications and stuff. Whistleblower is saying like, yo, they're viewing more than you think, right? Like, is that a good or bad thing?
I guess that's what I'm trying to ask. Yeah. I just can't
I
find a
would
way to
say,
eloquently word it. But yeah,
yeah,
like,
there's no really right or wrong way to word it. I really don't know. I wouldn't say I wouldn't say it's a negative thing that the NSA is doing. Uh, it does breach some privacy, yeah. I would say.
so like when the government is doing something that breaches Constitution, is it would you consider uh the whistleblower to be, whoa, it just got really bright, holy.
So, like I said, in this case, he released that the NSA is, you know, doing more viewing than they should be. I I wouldn't call him a hero, but I wouldn't call him like a villain either. I would just call him a, what do you call? Uh, he's like a, what what is it? He's a what is it called, dude? Shit.
Like a vigilante almost.
Oh, it is. That is. It's a
Yeah.
vigilante. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But in this case, he's not, you know, doing things for you know, like he's not crime fighting as this. He's not necessarily a vigilante.
I think there is a different word that is a bit more specific, but yeah, vigilante is kind of, I think, along the lines.
It would be, you know, something related to that. Just they're not. Uh, yeah, I wouldn't call him evil or good. I wouldn't call him good. I mean, because what is so? What does him saying about the NSA help? I mean, it helps bring attention to the NSA, obviously, but did anyone from that come up with, you know, a solution? Like what? Like not a solution, but what are they actively working on to try to fight the NSA? You know, being too deep into people's privacy. Like, are they? Is there anything happening, or did he just say that and that was in the end of it? You know what I mean?
I don't think anything has happened, no. Like, but I think what his worry was that if the NSA is breaching the Constitution, then what is to stop other branches from just completely doing whatever they want with the Constitution?
Well, so if you view it as, do you think the NSA is doing more more good breaching people's privacy, or do you think they're stepping too far into people's privacy? That's the question here.
That is the ultimate question. Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
because it's
because
like a balancing act. Yeah.
If you think about the NSA and and what they're doing, or why they exist, do you think that is causing more harm than good?
I'd like to think it's probably more good. Hopefully.
Because you know, ultimately the NSA is around to stop future terrorist attacks. You know what I mean? Like, you know how they sift through text messages and phone calls, you know, and they listen for, you know, keywords and all that jazz. Like everybody, you know, everybody
Yeah.
knows that they do that. Like you can't say, you know, you're gonna bomb someplace or an airport or anything in the same sentence or some shit. Like they'll know. You know what I mean? Like if you text it or something like that, like that shit flags. I'm pretty sure. Obviously, I don't know what the hell NSA is because that's all. I don't know what they do. These are all speculations. But
You got the insider information on the NSA?
no, no, I wish I had the inside information. I wish. No,
All right, man. I'm gonna keep
ultimately,
grilling you.
ultimately, I think the NSA is doing a good thing. I mean, yeah, they do a little too much, but you know, what's it hurting? You know what I mean? Yeah, like yeah, they step a little too far in your privacy. Like yeah, you text your girl, something, a vulgar pic,
Yeah.
and somebody at the NSA sees that. You know what I mean? If you think about it, like them dudes at the NSA are not looking for that stuff. They're looking for people that are going to harm the United States, not just the United States. Because when you think about it, they're in airports. You know what I mean? They're in your phone. Um they're they care about people harming other people. So like they don't want another 9/11 incident happening, obviously, because it's not just people that terrorists are killing. It's they're or not just they. I mean, they're just killing people, obviously, but they're damaging, international. That the World Trade Center. They fucked up the what was that? The main. Uh, Obviously, it was a World Trade Center. I don't know what the hell. I should know what the hell it was. It was for obviously it was for World Trade, but like I don't know the specifics of behind it, like what they did there. But yeah, they destroyed that, and it was this global crisis. You know what I mean? People's
Yeah.
families were affected. Like
Yeah. That no, yeah, we don't want that to happen again. Yeah.
I mean, and it wasn't just United States citizens on those planes. It was other citizens and for other countries on that plane. So they're stopping global terrorism. Really, I'm not saying I don't know if they sift through other countries' things, but
Oh, I'm sure they got some spies.
I'm sure there's other versions. I'm sure there's other versions of the NSA for other global or other international
Yeah.
like big ticket countries. You know what I mean?
Oh, probably. Yeah.
Like I'm sure like how Japan and like Asian countries they have a shit ton of CCTVs and like facial
Yeah.
recognitions and like yeah, that's like their little version of it. They can pretty much track you down if you do commit a crime. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, you try to commit a crime in Seoul and see where that gets you, because there is so much CCTV. They can like follow you down streets and back alleys and stuff with that crap, dude. It's crazy.
That is pretty crazy. Yeah.
How did you view the NSA? What do you think about them?
Um.
I remember I asked you, but like, dude, go further, go deeper.
Fuck, man. Dude, it's you're asking a lot from me right now. Well, okay. I think I think they probably shouldn't be spying on people too much. I think they should find another way to do good. I understand they don't want terrorists doing blowing up buildings, but I think privacy is I hear the arguments of like, oh well, you know, like what like what's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to you said you're going to send a vulgar pic to your girlfriend and maybe someone sees it, but like put yourself in that TSA agent's shoes. So like you're sitting there at a fucking desk all day, you're fucking bored as shit reading text messages, reading bored like 2-word text messages, you're fucking like tired working your 10-hour shift, and like maybe once a week you'll get this picture, this like funny fucking meme or a fucking dick pic or like this really hot nude or something. Like you're gonna want to save that picture. Like you're gonna want to have your own private little like book of like pleasures. You're gonna be like, oh, remember like I used to do this in fucking retail stores. Like we would take every customer's name, and like at the end of every week we would like look at the names and we'd make fun of the craziest fucking names. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
You're seeing all these text messages, you're seeing all these nude pictures. You're gonna keep the ones that are the most fucked
I
up
don't know
and
if you
crazy.
keep 'em, dude. That's a stretch. And okay, I see where you're going. So, let's say, right, the wherever they work, you know, let's say they do sit there and look at a computer screen all day and read text messages, which I don't think they do. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think they have an algorithm.
It might be a computer
I think they
algorithm.
have a system Yeah, I think they have a computer algorithm or a system or something like that
Well, okay, it's probably a computer
that can read your
algorithm
text.
that sifts through it, and then it's probably a person at stage two that the computer algorithm feeds the
The
output to.
stage two. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Like they get a flag, like, yo, this number right here is
yeah,
suspicious. You know what I mean? Like, and then they
yeah,
go through that motherfucker's number and shit. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But uh, yeah, I don't think it's that deep to where people are seeing these nudes and saving them. I highly doubt. I mean, I don't fully disagree with you. Like, maybe you're sitting there and like, again, let's say that that is how they do it, right? Let's say that is how they do it. They're sitting there on the screen, they're seeing people's nudes and all that jazz. Yeah, I don't disagree with you that I bet somebody has taken a photo of their computer screen at that point. Maybe
Yeah.
exactly what you said yourself. Like maybe there's a hot nude or something like that. Like, you know, if it was like that, everybody has those. What is it? Urges. Everybody has those urges. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure people, if they, like I said again, if or not if, I wouldn't disagree with you if that's the way they did it, that someone hasn't taken a photo of their computer screen of like a nude or something. I would not disagree with you. Yeah, like let's say sure you got a whole, maybe something comes up there and it's like really funny or like somebody's really ugly or something like that, and they're sending photos of themselves and shit, and like they get all their like let's say it's like a late night or something. You get all the other buddies at the NSA in the room to come look. You're like, oh, look at this dude. He's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't disagree with you
It
if that's
definitely
the way that it
happens.
actually happened. Yeah, like maybe, maybe that happened. But at that point, think about it like this. At that point, you as the sender of the nude has zero clue that that is happening. Does it affect you?
Yeah, okay, okay. So we're back at the level of it because the answer is no to that, of course. But then we're back at the question of like, well, if they're doing this, then what's the next level? Like, what's the
Yeah,
next
yeah, I
thing
see what
that
you
it
mean.
could come to?
It could
You know?
it could end up as the next OnlyFans hack, right? Where all these people's nudes that they took and sold get put on the internet for people for free, right? It could. You're saying it could end up like that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
my nude or
Like
something
I
that
like
I
what I'm
sent
saying is
to
that people
someone.
people are not perfect. People make mistakes. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
and that's why I'm saying you have to take people out of the equation.
yeah. People aren't perfect. Perfect. You're right. I can probably see it though as the background checks and just the process that you would probably have to go through to get even accepted into message monitoring at NSA if that's how they do it. I can see that being a huge process with multiple levels of supervision, and I doubt even if like again even if that was the way they did it. Because again, we don't know that's how they do it. But even if it was, I doubt that you would be able to have a collection of other people's photos or anything, and someone not know about it.
You're probably right. You're probably right.
And that goes back to if a human being is sitting at a computer and going through, let's say you get to NSA, you start your shift and they're like, yo, you got to go through 100 people's text messages, you know what I mean? Today, like you got to do that, you know what I mean? Like, sift, search, all that jazz. Let's say that is the way they do it, but who knows what it is? I doubt that they will be able to save images and keep for personal use. I doubt it.
I hope not. I
Because
hope
that
not.
you got to think of it as in terms of global. We're talking about in terms of going back to the global security thing, or national security, or all that jazz. We're talking about like that's a government job. There is probably so many different levels of supervision and like clearance that you have to get and like all that background checks. Like I doubt that the people working there will do that. Even if they had the opportunity, I doubt they would do it. just because of the risk of repercussion.
Getting a security clearance sucks too.
Probably for, depending on the government, yeah. Or if you get like a deep security clearance with the government, yeah, it probably does suck.
I know in the military, just getting like regular security clearance and then getting your when you get your regular security clearance, you have to get CID and all that shit, investigation, and then like top secret, they have somebody from the Pentagon come in and interview. They know more stuff about you than you know about yourself. It's funny.